So I went skydiving last week for the first time ever, and the guy comes up and he straps himself to me, and then we jumped out of the plane together. And as we begin to free fall, he yells in my ear, "So, how long you been an instructor?" Hello, darkness, my old friend. I stood up too fast again. Now, who here has not yet seen my stand-up comedy debut? Here's a clip of that memorable night.
So I joined the gym last month, to get nice for the summertime. And I got myself a brand new personal trainer. And I said, yo, I want to really grab the attention of the beautiful women around here. What machine do you recommend I use? He said, try the ATM outside.
Now, some of you may be wondering, hey, Toons, what was the verdict of your debut stand-up show? And so what had happened was they asked me back to do a 5-minute set 2 days later. Unfortunately, I only have one small clip of that amazing show as we ran into some technical difficulties. But here's the one clip that was saved from my second time doing stand-up comedy.
So far, so good. Hey, what do you think, everybody?
That's funny.
So my apartment building elevator, I guess it was last week, I saw this lady come in the elevator that I recognized. So I said, hey, so where are you off to today? And she says, I'm actually off down to the blood bank. They're offering up $25 for anyone who wants to donate blood this week. I said, wow, what a coincidence. I'm actually heading over to the sperm bank and they're offering $300 for anyone who donates sperm this week. And she just hurries herself out of the elevator. Next morning, I catch her in the elevator again, and I ask her, so, where are you off to today? And she replies to me with her mouth overwhelmingly full. Oh.
A man lay sprawled across 3 entire seats in a theater. When the usher came around, he noticed this and he whispered to the man, "Sorry, sir, but you're only allowed 1 seat." The man groaned, but he didn't budge. The usher became impatient. "Sir," the usher said, "if you don't get up from there, I'm going to have to call the manager." Again, the man just groaned, which infuriated the usher, who turned and marched briskly back up the aisle in search of the manager. After a few moments, both the usher and the manager returned and stood over the man. Together, the two of them tried repeatedly to move him, but with no success. Finally, they called the police. The cop showed up and surveyed the situation briefly and then asked, "All right, buddy, what's your name?" "Sam," the man groaned. "Where are you from, Sam?" the cop asked. And with pain in his voice, Sam replied, "The balcony." Some people think that God is black, 'cause you call him Father and you never see him. Doctor: "So, tell me what triggers your anxiety." Me: "Nouns." Doctor: "Nouns?" Me: "Well, persons, places, things. What did slave owners use to buy slaves?" MasterCard. People like to say that money is not the key to happiness. But I always figured if you have enough money, you can make the key. And who remembers this Bionic Duo?
Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him.
Today, I learned that a school of piranhas can maul and devour a small child down to the bones in about 15 minutes. On a totally unrelated topic, I lost my job at the aquarium. Just remember 2 things when you're watching my videos. Number 1, they're only jokes. And number 2, nobody gives a shit about your feelings. I just want to take a moment here to thank you so very much for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell too, so you can be notified about my new content, which I release twice a week. Thanks again, and back to the show. Thank you for calling Planned Parenthood, where you make 'em and we scrape 'em. No fetus can beat us. How can I help you?
What you talking about, Willis?
While shopping for vacation clothes, a husband and wife passed a display of bathing suits. Wife: it's been about 10 years and about 20 pounds since I'd even considered buying a bathing suit. So she sought her husband's advice. What do you think, honey? She asked. Should I get a bikini or an all-in-one? Husband: you better get the bikini, 'cause you'll never get it all in one. What do 9 out of 10 people enjoy? Gangbang. Why does Batman's mask only cover half of his face? So the cops can see that he's white. Yard sales, where our crap could be your crap if the price is right. What do you call the people in that big space shuttle Challenger explosion back in 1986? Alive.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your proton pills and put your helmets on.
Therapist: your wife says you've never bought her flowers. Is this true? Him: to be honest, I never knew she sold flowers. I just love the word facetious. Not only is it hard to spell, it's the only word in the English language that uses all the vowels in order. Don't you ever, and I mean ever, iron a 4-leaf clover, 'cause you don't want to press your luck. Tony was listening to his sister practice her singing when he says, "Hey sis, I wish you'd only sing Christmas carols." "That's nice of you, Tony," she replied, "but why do you say that?" Tony replies, "'Cause then I'd only have to hear you sing once a year." Hey, this vaping thing is weird. You walk past a group of dudes nowadays that look like gangsters, but they smell like strawberry shortcake. You ever notice that tea solves everything? And if it doesn't, just add a biscuit. The Tony Tunes, word of the day: sitcho. It's a verb. To strongly encourage someone to briskly sit down and remain seated. If I ever decide to buy a horse ranch in my old age, I'm gonna name it Past Your Prime. I know this'll sound a bit crazy to some of you, but if you want to know something, anything about me, the best person to ask is me. Feeling a little guilty about your kids watching too much TV? Just mute it and put the subtitles on. Boom! Now they're reading. Have you ever wondered if any of your recorded phone calls with organizations have ever been used for training or quality control purposes? A little boy around 5 or 6 years old wanted $300 very badly so he could help his parents who had just both lost their jobs. He prayed and he prayed for 2 weeks straight, but nothing happened. Then he decided to write a letter directly to God requesting $200. When the postal authorities received the letter addressed to God in Canada, they decided to send it to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was so impressed, touched, and amused with the letter from the little boy that he instructed his secretary to send the little boy a crisp $100 bill. The Prime Minister thought this would appear to be a lot of money to a little boy. Well, the little boy was absolutely delighted and thrilled with the $100. and immediately sat down to write a thank you note to God, which read, "Dear God, thank you so much for sending me the money. However, I noticed that for some reason you had to send it through our nation's capital, Ottawa, Ontario. And as per usual, those bastards deducted 50%.